Yes, people, welcome to the Shoestring Budget Podcast. Today is Friday, so we are going to be talking about the transfers that have gone on. What a 24 hours it has been, especially for Manchester United. I'm joined today by Tom again, so big up, Tom. How you doing, bro?
I'm all good.
It's been a good 24 hours for Manchester United. Obviously now it has been confirmed by the man Fabrizio Romano. He's given it the here we go. We have signed, or we are in the process of completing the signing of Casemiro from Real Madrid to Manchester United, and it's believed to be around 60 million euros, which is the fixed fee, with around 10 million euros in add-ons, so around 60 million pounds. How do you feel about that, bro? What's your feelings?
I feel like it's one of them. I've seen multiple tweets that I kind of agree with. So like all this that's going to be happening on Monday against Liverpool, the protests and everything, and then they've had all this news that somebody else wants to buy the club, and then all of a sudden they're out here buying players, offering clubs big money for players. I'm completely 100% happy with the signing of Casemiro, because anything is better than Fred and McTominay, and he's got the experience. He's played with Varane, he's played with Ronaldo, so I feel like the link up there will be quite good. But it's just, I feel like it's a bit too much of a coincidence that they're making signings like that just after all this that's been going on.
Which just goes to show, I think, how under pressure that they are with the fans. I know John Murto's name was trending earlier on in the week. A lot of fans calling for him to be sacked, and Richard Arnold as well. But going back to Casemiro, absolutely fantastic signing for United. Believed to be on a salary of around £350,000 per week. So he's going to be in the top bracket of earners, which it's a lot of money. Don't get me wrong, it's a lot of money, but he's in that top bracket of earners, which I think someone with his his reputation and his ability, he should be in the top earners. When you look at our wage structure, the whole thing is a joke. You got Marcus Rashford reportedly on around £200,000 a week for the 4 goals he scored last season, and then I think Jadon Sancho's on around the £300,000 mark, with De Gea being the top earner. Again, we can discuss that in another podcast. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with this signing. I think this is a positive one. I do also agree, and I think you're absolutely spot on in bringing up the protests.
I feel like they've kind of done it to try and distract people from doing the protests on Monday.
Hopefully people can see through this, be happy with the signing. By all means, it's a great signing. It's exactly the kind of player that we needed.
Well, I think on Twitter, correct me if I'm wrong, the hashtag Glazers out is 14 on trending.
Yeah, it's around 14th, 15th. It has come back on there, which is good, but we want that to be number 1, number 2. We want that to be up there, because we need this new ownership. We are going to do a podcast later on as well in the week to discuss all things Manchester United in terms of rumoured new ownerships. And I hopefully get a Liverpool fan, our friend Paul, on to discuss the Manchester United v Liverpool game, which is coming up on Monday. And also I will be at Old Trafford to try and speak to some fans and video some of the protests and join in with them protests, more importantly. So I'm looking forward to seeing any of you guys there. I'm just going to go back to Casemiro because it is a transfer podcast. I'm looking at his statistics here. I've just brought them up on my screen now, and I mean, he's done incredibly well at Real Madrid. He's so successful there. And per 90 he manages around 2.78 clearances, 2.25 blocks per 90, 3.21 tackles per 90. Very defensive minded. This is the kind of player that we need. We've been crying out probably since Mourinho for a sort of more of a defensive midfielder. We had Nemanja Matic, which I don't know why that quite for me didn't work out at all. I like Matic as well, but I just didn't think it worked out. But we've got a more defensive focused midfielder. Pass completion of around 86.6% per 90. And as you look at his percentiles, they go down towards the more attacking play. So goals, pressures, progressive carries, more of the sort of central attacking midfielder roles. He doesn't fulfill any of that. He is very much defensive minded. And we've had McTominay and Fred for 2 or 3 seasons, maybe even 4 seasons now.
We've suffered for too long with them too. I feel like Casemiro is such a quality player. Like he'll add everything we've been missing, hopefully, in the midfield. I'd say, like, if you start in Casemiro, Eriksen, Fernandes in the midfield, there you're winning. It sounds a lot better just by adding that one player.
Now, moving on to a reported signing that should or could be coming. This one I'm a bit mixed on, but I'll see your take on this. So this is for Anthony from Ajax to Manchester United. Now, I like the player, but the fee, I think, is astronomical. It's rumoured to be in the 80 million euro mark. What do you think of that? I mean, that's just, for me, that's crazy.
I've seen the player a couple of times. I've seen clips of him here and there. I've watched him a few times. He's a very, very talented player. But why do United always overpay for players? You have teams like, you have Manchester City. They've just brought in Erling Haaland for 50 million or 51 million, whatever it is. Either way, it was a steal. United are paying 80 million for Harry Maguire and like 80 million for Anthony. I don't understand why United keep overpaying all these clubs for these players.
It's partly, I think, down to the fact it's so late on in the transfer window. I mean, there were reports earlier on that it was going to be in the 55 million euro mark. We weren't happy to pay that then. And then all of a sudden it's gone up to 80 and the bid was rejected. So you're looking at around 100 million is the reported fee that we would have to pay to prize Anthony away. I'm looking at his statistics. It's difficult with him because he has played in the Eredivisie, which isn't the most telling of leagues. I don't think he scored a lot of goals there either last season. He's meant to be very much of a showman, so someone that's entertaining to watch. Looking at potential outgoings as well, we also have news that has come out during recording that Olympique Marseille are closing in on an Erik Bailly loan deal. I loved Erik Bailly.
They're getting a class defender there. I honestly, if he wasn't so injury prone, I would have him in our starting lineup every single week.
I would love to see him and Varane week in, week out.
The two of them just get injured so much.
That's the problem. It goes back to Harry Maguire. He has been our most consistent. I say consistent in the sense that he's not injured. He's very, very rarely injured. I think he probably missed like 5 or 6 games last year through injury, whereas Varane and Bailly combined probably missed half of the season, if not more. But that performance against Liverpool in pre-season, it was just amazing. He just flies in. He reminds me a little bit of Nemanja Vidic, how he just puts everything on the line. Doesn't care if he gets his head taken off, he will put his head in the way. He's very much like that, and I do love that kind of defender.
He's like that on every appearance he's ever had for Man United. I haven't seen Erik Bailly have a bad game. And you know another one, right, who I think United have really, really missed out on is Tuanzebe. I feel like he's so talented and he's also a good defender.
That I always remember with Tuanzebe, him and Aaron Wan-Bissaka against PSG, they completely marked Neymar and Mbappe out of that game. They were world class in that, and they've just never really been. I mean, Wan-Bissaka has, but Tuanzebe has never really been given that chance to shine, in my opinion. Sticking with outgoings, obviously the main man himself. You mentioned him earlier on today as well, Cristiano Ronaldo. He let out some information the other day saying that a lot of media outlets have been incorrect with stories regarding him, and he's got a little black book and he's been taking notes, and out of the 100 reports there's only 5 that are accurate. Now, he did say earlier in the week, in 2 weeks time all will be revealed. This could be amazing, or this could be absolutely terrifying. What are your thoughts on Ronaldo and his conduct?
As one of the best players in the world, if not the best player in the world, I feel like he has a right to want Champions League football and want better out of the club that pretty much made him. I don't think he should be at a team that are in the Europa League and are bottom of the Premier League and struggling, but it's still Manchester United, and I feel like, you know, he should have that loyalty and be a leader to everybody else on the pitch, because he's been there, he's done that, he's been through it all. So I feel like he should step up and really be a big leader for everybody else who's struggling on the pitch.
Like Gary Neville has come out and tweeted, this was just after the news broke on Sky that Ronaldo was going to do this interview that is believed to be a tell-all interview in 2 weeks' time. He's tweeted, "Why does the greatest player of all time, in my opinion, have to wait 2 weeks to tell Manchester United fans the truth? Stand up now and speak. This club is in crisis and it needs leaders to lead. He's the only one who can grab the situation by the scruff of the neck."
I feel like the Glazers, well, just Man United in general, don't want to sell Cristiano Ronaldo. I don't want to get rid of him purely because of who he is and because of the sponsors and everything and all the benefits that the club gets, that because he's involved.
That's it. Commercially, he is such a valuable asset to that club. So, you know, the Glazers have been, from a lot of reports that have come out, certainly last week, and we did touch on this in the last podcast as well, that the Glazers are the ones that are holding back on letting Ronaldo go, not so much the club. Reports in recent days have said now that Man United have come to the idea of letting Erik Ten Hag decide on Ronaldo's future. And I think that's how it should be. If Ten Hag can see that Ronaldo is having a negative effect with his teammates, due to the fact he wants to leave, rightly or wrongly, he should be allowed to go. Tear up the contract, let the man go.
But obviously, you've still got people who think Ronaldo's the problem and he's this and he's that. It isn't. It isn't just. You can't just blame it on one person. Yeah, I know he's got the voice and he's a leader, but he's also still just a player who's playing up front in probably one of the worst teams he's ever played in. You know, so if he wants to leave, then I suppose you've got to respect that and just let him go, because, you know, he hasn't got long left before he's going to retire, and none of us want to see Ronaldo retire, you know, in this state, in this team, in the competitions that we're in. He needs to retire at a club that's doing something big and winning the Champions League, and, you know, just go out with a bang.
Yes, people, thank you so much for listening to the Shoestring Budget Podcast. Make sure that you follow us on all our socials, on our Twitter page. Just put in hashtag the Shoestring Budget Podcast and you'll see us on there. Remember, hashtag Glazers out. We will be there on Monday to protest the Glazers. Make sure you come and say hello. Thank you.